See, I agree with this, but for more than one reason. Specifically because of the state of our world right now. And the way I'm gonna explain this, my thoughts are gonna be boom, 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 and somehow they'll connect together like a web. So get ready for it. First and foremost, it helps the masculine population way more than they think. Because naturally, even though we have a higher level of aggression naturally, because we are learning from those who know how to regulate and transmute their emotions more effectively in other avenues, we can use that to our advantage and thus use that aggression, that male energy in other sectors to progress ourselves forward instead of using it for toxic masculinity or for toxic ways thereof. Secondly, so many things would just be acceptable. The world would be more expressive, more free to do what it wants to, while also being able to not be shunned for who you are. And here where that other thread comes in at. Too much of this, and I see why we need both the masculine and feminine to be together instead of having one dominate the other, is that people would be more emotion based, which genuinely isn't a problem until you have issues where both people feel strongly about the same thing and they are not wrong in why they think that. And even though they're regulating their emotions, their opinions are still strong on that. That's where you would need the masculine side to come in. All the way spiritually, emotionally, physically, and mentally speaking. This side of your brain has to come in. Otherwise, if the emotions are not in check, they can just go all over the place. Another web connection. Do women naturally have an attuneness to their masculine? Or is it that they choose their feminine more often than not? But then again, this is an interesting thought process. I see the benefits of having a feminine dominated society, but I also see the cons too. It's like you need both. You have to be able to balance out the feminine so that you can experience your emotions, your creativity, and what you're feeling in a healthy manner. But you also have the masculine so that that feminine doesn't get out of whack. There it is. And that's why he said what he said, but not realizing why he said it. Men do not know how to handle their feminine in a healthy way, shape, form, or manner. Hence why they always turn to their aggression. Women, or those feminine based, automatically learn how to manage their emotions, which automatically integrates into the masculine side. Hence, they think they're in their feminine when really they're in their masculine, understanding their feminine. Hence, why he stated what he stated. Our world is a connected web of emotion. When you're able to get your mental in check, you're able to understand your emotions way better. And when you're able to get your emotions in check, you're able to understand your mental better. This is why duality is important. It is important because when there's too much of one side, there tends to be problems that only this side knows how to solve. But if you choose to lean on this side because, it seems like it can solve this problem, then guess what? There are problems here that requires this side to solve it. But it's not until you go straight into the middle, or more specifically, it's not until you realize that society shouldn't be feminine dominant nor masculine dominant, but rather they should be ruling and equal. You should have an empire, not a kingdom or queendom. A society where the masculine treats the feminine with the respect that it deserves, and the feminine does the same for the masculine, in return for a balanced society. And that's how you can get the entire world on hemisync. And just realizing that can automatically tell you how an empire, or really your own relationship, can just flourish. You shouldn't have to dominate one another, or one shouldn't try to control the other, or one shouldn't try to be the ruling house of the other. You two should be working in tandem together instead of trying to dominate the other. Because once you two work in tandem with each other, you'll be able to create life in ways that y'all didn't even think would be possible. And that's why you have to understand the masculine and feminine. Because if you do not, you will be subjected to the toxic traits of that into which you are subjected yourself to. Meaning, if you are a masculine and you don't take the time to understand your thought process and your emotions, then you're going to be controlled by your thoughts. And because you don't know what your emotions are feeling, you're going to automatically think anger, aggression, or anything that's rough, tough, this, that, and the third. And for the feminine side, if you do not understand how to tap in with the clarity that your mind gives you, your emotions will be up, down, all around, and you would tend to attack those who you mean not to attack. But because your emotions were up, down, and all around, you couldn't self-regulate yourself. Even if you know how to self-regulate yourself, there are those hard choices that we have to make based on which side we are on, in the feminine or masculine. Did you notice how I switched from female and male to masculine and feminine? And that's because a male can be feminine and a woman can be masculine, as well as a male can be masculine and a female can be feminine. It's about what you're naturally attuned to instead of what you yourself personally are in terms of your gender. Hence why I still believe why the Bible was not talking about the literal gender, but the masculine and the feminine. And this is also why I rock with the queer community, because you can still have a pure heart and care no matter what. Hence, honor thy father, honor thy mother, honor your thoughts and honor your emotions. Because if you do not, one will dictate the other and the other one will revolt. And you have this constant back and forth, back and forth, back and forth fluctuation. You have all this stored up, pent up aggression, energy, this, that, and the third, and you don't know what to do with it or handle it. But the moment that you take a step back and you seek to understand one side or the other, and you're like, okay, I behave like this because of this, so let me try to take a step back even when those emotions flare up, or when your emotions are out of whack. You'd be like, okay, let me take a step back and see why I feel the way I feel, and you understand why, and you're like, okay, let me calm down, take a breath, and let's think through how we can switch this and solve this for ourselves. And that's how you can have a flourishing society. So again, I understand what he meant at the beginning. At the same time, it's not the entire picture, because what he is describing is only a piece of the puzzle. This puzzle that we have constructed via our web. Hence why I'm calling this series The String of Webs. And now you know, balance your emotions and balance your mind state, and you'll have a flourishing relationship, okay? I'm coming for this hug. No, no, no. Know that we always love you, and as always, from here in this space, I shake this out of you.